Bitcoin makes a new all-time high. What do we do now? Hey everybody, this is Brandon with Crypto Trades and Tech. So today on a few exchanges we actually made a new all-time high briefly on Bitcoin. Now across the board we did not yet. But what I wanted to talk about today a little bit is just my thoughts about what this means for the cycle moving forward. And what we've got here is my long-term Bitcoin chart, and this is the last cycle, the only cycle that we have good altcoin data on, namely Ethereum, to see how it interacted with that last cycle. So as we talked about in my last video, we're obviously in for a little bit of a different cycle. I'm starting to favor basically ignoring this whole attempt at the prior all-time high, because I think that our last run-up to the 12,000 and the 20% sell-off probably equated to this. And here's why I think that. We are 203 days in from the halving this cycle, and if you see last cycle, from the halving to this point here where we tested the all-time high, it was a further distance to go from where we entered the market at the halving to the all-time high this cycle. So we've moved up 130% in 203 days. So on the last cycle, at 203 days in, we were only 43% up. So we've definitely had a stronger start to this bull market than last bull market. Now, at that peak right there, we were 87% up and 180 days in. If you look at the percentage gains, it's a lot closer to our 12K mark than it was to this all-time high. So there was only 80% up to go to get from the opening of the halving to the prior all-time high last cycle. So there are some differences here. So I'm wanting to look more at this region here to see the similarities between this cycle and last cycle, if we can continue to learn anything. Now, of course, nothing has to repeat, and we're finding out here that it's not going to repeat exactly. But obviously we talked a lot about the fact that when we first peaked up here and made this first all-time high, this is kind of where we're at today. We maybe barely broke it on a few exchanges. We're looking like we're probably going to go ahead and make a new all-time high. I still think we have a sell-off at some point and go back to one of our main moving averages. That's kind of our load-up zone. So I'm still waiting for that. However, the big difference is in the alt season frenzy. We've seen Ethereum specifically and several of the alts really start to pick up steam, probably more so than last time. I was comparing it to this area right here, but we've gained more than that area, obviously, and especially since when we started this bull run, Ethereum actually ran ahead of Bitcoin, and it's outperformed Bitcoin this year. So I don't know if what we're looking at is one of these events here, but I am starting to think that we're going to see this inversion sooner rather than later, where when we do get a Bitcoin sell-off, what happens is funds flow from Bitcoin into altcoins. So what does that mean? How am I playing that? Well, basically, I still have a lot of funds available for buying the dip, because I did shave a little bit of my position as we came into resistance here at the prior all-time high. I had made a couple of really good trades on a couple of alt pairs prior, so I went overweight on Link and ETH and got some really good trades out of those, as well as my XMR trade before, and I've also freed up more funds. So for me, I have a lot of funds waiting to buy the dip here. However, I'm going to be looking at my crypto pairs versus BTC very carefully to see where I can take advantage of the possible inversion. And the main place I'll be looking is right here at Ethereum. And we take the moving average off of here. I don't really care about the moving averages so much. I want to just pure technicals on these BTC charts. But we had this descending wedge and nice breakout here on ETH versus BTC. And so I'm looking for a clear resumption here. Now, I probably, in hindsight, I did buy the dip. I did buy the dip to 488 on USD, some of my funds there. So I got that one pretty close. I bought the dip on Link. As you guys saw, I had 33.30 in here. As the sell-off was happening, I saw it was coming in very hot, so I moved my buy down to 12.90. So I did get it back in at Link at 12.90, and I picked up a good amount of ADA at 12, where I had that. My last video said I was going to go back in at 128. Now, because the sell-off was happening so fast, I actually only bought a portion of what I had planned to buy there. I had planned to go all in at that level. Let me turn up this log chart here. All in at that level, but it was coming in so hot and the sell-off was coming off so fast that I thought we were going to probably get down to these more like 10 cents. So I kind of possibly missed that, but we may still enter the sell-off. Now, here's the official prior all-time high on Bitcoin that I have on my chart. This is the Gemini high of 1999, I believe it is. We still haven't hit that, so across every exchange we haven't made an all-time high. I've been watching the level 2 data on Binance and Coinbase Pro, which are two of the larger exchanges, and there's a humongous sell wall right here. So I do still think that buyers are going to get exhausted as we come into this, and if we break this, and we're going to get a sell-off that looks kind of like what we had indicated back here. We're gonna, if we go ahead and just go and break that all-time high, I still think we get this sell-off here and get another opportunity to buy. However, I do think the altcoins might pump during that time. I don't know. I'll be watching the technicals on the chart. So what I'm looking for, back to the altcoin charts here real fast. We had a breakout, retest, resumption. I should have taken more of a trade here, but I was expecting further downside. I thought this was just going to be a short-lived pop, and it very well might be. So I'm just currently waiting on Ethereum to give me a clear indication that we are in the clear. I think at this point I'm just holding on to see if we clearly make a new all-time high, and if we make an all-time high and broach this for any period of time and it's clear that we've done so, I'll be very aggressive. Any entries here I'm going to be taking, any sort of breakout, retest, resumption, or clear entries otherwise here. I'm really watching Link though right now. Link is sitting right on support. And let's go to the 12-hour. I'm really waiting to see if we get some clear movement off of here. That's really what I'm waiting for, because I think, you know, Link, obviously this last period does not look good on this particular chart. It's in a pretty heavy downtrend, but you can see obviously we're starting to slim out here. It's not really, I was trying to draw this earlier. I can't really draw a really good, clearly defined descending wedge or anything like that, but it's very clearly starting to consolidate here, and it looks like it really wants to make a move up. So I may continue to work on this descending wedge, see if I can't, you know, find some levels I really like to watch. I was looking at this earlier. If you draw it through here at these touches, the only problem is I don't like that peaked out above there, but you know, sometimes you gotta live with these charts are a little bit hectic. But nonetheless, this is setting up. This is almost like, this is my kind of rocket pad formation. This pennant type of formation. But yeah, this is basically a rocket pad formation. I may have to put this in the CTM group here. I'm gonna keep working on this. This is the one I think is really exciting looking though. It's really coming into some consolidation here, and it might have some explosive moves up. So honestly, if we take out some of these, I might go ahead and put a small trade on, and then really look for that breakout, retest, resumption out of here on the BTC chart. That would be a really good trade. So that's really what I'm looking for. If we break the all-time high and we make, and it's clearly above here, and we're going to move into that territory, I still think we're going to sell off in BTC, but I'm going to be pretty aggressive about looking for trades in all of my altcoin pairs, namely ETH, Link, ADA. But I'm also keeping an eye on EOS, Algorand, ZIL. I haven't done much work on this chart. DOT I'm looking for. It looks like it's trying to consolidate down here a little bit. XMR is not looking great. Atom was maybe in a descending wedge. OXT, I'll be looking for trades on this. If that resumes off of here, I'll take a trade on that. And then Heath pointed out this one, ZRX. Now he pointed out on the USD charts again. I'm back to purely. I'm in the trade versus BTC only mode right now. I'm looking for a chance to get back, you know, take all my USD and get back into Bitcoin and be done. I'm not going to go back to USD or any fiats after this next opportunity to get in whenever that happens. But so I'm still watching this one because Heath brought it out, and this chart's still interesting to me on the BTC chart. So a lot of these alts are definitely starting to bottom out. So, and ZRX, by the way, this is a decentralized exchange, an Ethereum ecosystem decentralized exchange project. These all have a lot of good potential. All these like DEXs, we call them, decentralized exchange, DEX. So those are all worth watching. Why is this not moving? So anyway, that's my thoughts for today. That's all I really just wanted to update my thoughts for today. Oh, that's why it's not moving. Pull that down just a little bit. So we're gonna flip that to support. Just like waiting for resumption off of that support right there of some type. I'll keep working on this, but thank you guys for watching, and we'll maybe do another update tomorrow. If you like the content, like and subscribe. I appreciate all the support.